boyfriend called me a gold digger. I've 32F been with my boyfriend 40M for about 7 years now. For the most part, everything is great. However, one thing that bothers me is that all the debt we have is in my name. The house and mortgage, for instance, are solely in my name, and he transfers his half of the cost to me monthly. The car lease we have is solely in my name, but we put a significant amount up front and he paid a little more than half of it. I have credit cards we both use, but he has none. If he makes a large purchase on my credit card solely for himself, I ask him for the money, but that doesn't happen too often. With rare exceptions, credit cards get paid in full every month. So none of this harms me, and I have no reason to believe that he will stop paying for his expenses. But it bothers me that I'm the one who is taking 100% of the risk, credit-wise. I brought this up before. I wanted him to co-sign the mortgage and co-own the house, but he refused. I've asked him to sign up for a credit card, but he won't. Today, he asked for $100 because his account was low, which is something he does every few months and pays me back on payday. Tired of this, I asked him again to apply for a credit card so he can just have access to money without asking me. Now, it's not like he doesn't have the money or has a bad credit score. He makes more than twice as much as me, and the reason he occasionally comes up short in his checking account is solely because of extremely large automatic transfers he has to his savings account. So he has the money in his savings readily available, but can't access it for 1 to 2 business days because that's how long the transfer takes. In my mind, a credit card would solve this problem. I reiterated again that I'm not okay with being the only person in the relationship with credit. I said that it's not fair of him to rely on me financially, especially since he makes more than twice as much as me and can simply apply for a credit card. He said that he doesn't believe in credit cards, so I feel really insulted that he thinks that he is personally above having one but thinks it's fine to occasionally charge mine. He said that he is tired of laying out cash for me all the time, when the only reason he gives me cash is for half of our shared bills. When he puts a large personal expense on my credit card, he snapped and said he was tired of all the financial stress I put him under. I asked him what he meant, and he brought up that while I was out of work for 2 months last year due to recovering from cancer surgery, he covered a slightly higher portion of our shared expenses, to the tune of about $1,100 minus $1,200 total over the course of 2 months. He makes 6 figures and gets 5-figure bonuses. Edit. For context, I make $65,000. Honestly, I don't even know what my question is. I'm really upset, feel like I'm being gaslighted, and I'm shocked that he is upset that he contributed slightly more to our shared bills while I was undergoing cancer treatment. Thoughts. Edit. It's pretty validating to see that everyone else finds this as strange as I do, and I'm not crazy. I haven't been on Reddit long, so I am floored by all the people who took their time to respond to me. Thanks, everyone. In terms of knowing who he is, I have met his co-workers and been to his job site. I haven't sleuthed, because I believe him, but I have come across financial statements, W-2s, that confirmed his career is real. He is also with me every night, so there is no real opportunity for him to have a second family. I've spent significant time with his childhood friends and his family members. I'm not in dire financial straits because even though the mortgage is mine alone, so is the house, and I can afford payments on my own if need be. The car payment is manageable, and I would keep the car if we broke up. And I generally don't carry credit card debt month to month. He has always paid his part of the bills, though sometimes a few days late. But although all my debt is good, I am at my debt-to-income limit. If I needed to take out a loan, something wrong with the house, some other emergency, I wouldn't be able to. And I just feel like this is a refusal to commit to building a life together.
And it's holding us back.
It is. And it has. How he was acting last night. The fact that he brought up my cancer recovery as an example of me costing him money was extremely out of character, as he is normally generous and dependable, as long as he's not using credit.
However,
I would agree with a lot of you that he may be hiding something. Not as severe as a double life, mob ties, etc. Secrets have a way of making people crazy, and they can go to great lengths to hide something that turns out to be not as big a deal as they thought. He also does have some weird hang-ups about money that I've never understood. And this shush tea is holding us back as a couple. It's incredibly hard to do things like plan for a future, or trust him enough to have kids, if he can't even sign up for a credit card, while sometimes using mine.
Which shows he is totally okay with credit cards.
Best case scenario is that he is mentally damaged around money for some reason. And if that can't be solved, reason enough to break up. I can't be with someone who won't figure out finances with me, especially after how long we've been together. He's not dealing well with COVID lockdowns, and my cancer had a much worse effect on his mental health than mine. So I'm thinking he's in some sort of weird downward spiral. That being said, he can't take it out on me and refuse to plan for our future. So I need to figure out if he can work towards working these things out or not. So, TBD. Need to figure out what's going on. Maybe he got into some legal shit in his 20s that he's still paying off. Maybe he does have a moderate gambling problem. Maybe he's just really selfish around money. And figure out next steps. Are you sure he's not married? Or maybe divorced and trying to hide assets? This not owning a house and no credit cards is weird. How do you rent a car when you travel for business? Something is seriously off. He's complaining about $1,200 when you had cancer surgery. What kind of BS is that? And that he's bringing it up is just childish and pathetic. He makes more money and yet he's the one who's short. So next time he wants $100, say no. Accuse him of being the gold digger. He's the one that nitpicking over money. Large saving transfer that can't be accessed for 1 to 2 days. This isn't the 90s and you are being naive. Him asking for $100 to cover himself while making 6 figures says there is something deeper here. Do you truly know where his money goes? All in all, you're being played and taking all the risk for someone willingly putting large ticket purchases on your CC. Advance your cards if you have to. Stop giving him money for extra help. Red flag city. Tell him you want to sell the house because it's only in your name and you're no longer comfortable
with it.
See how he reacts. Is he trying to avoid being tracked? This sounds like some witness protections shit.
He doesn't want his name on anything financial.
That is a big red flag to me. Big red flag. Do not put his name on the title of your house or on the mortgage. Do not put his name on your car lease. If he doesn't believe in credit cards, then he can stop using yours.
If he needs to make a major purchase,
he can break out his checkbook. When he does use your credit card, does he pay not only the principal he owes but the interest that gets charged for that balance? He is using you.
He is affecting your credit.
He is costing you money. And he is stressing you out over his irresponsibility. Get a financial planner. Or get rid of him.
Or both.
This dude sounds very sketch. ETA. And his words regarding having to be a supportive adult while you recovered from cancer, that alone would be a deal breaker for me. Okay, really? He doesn't believe in credit cards. That is classic because clearly he relies on the credit extended to him by you. This is gaslighting 101. Since everything is in your name, perhaps you would like to sell it all. Granted, this is extreme. A more rational approach would be to understand your legal standing in this relationship, so quietly book some time with a lawyer to educate yourself. He sounds shady, man. I don't understand why he's trying to not have shit under his name and make his own credit account. Seuss. Why?
Did you allow everything to be set up like this?
I have a coworker who married a guy. He got a truck, a Camaro SS,
The most expensive Samsung phone at the time.
got all his kids from a previous marriage, brand new iPhones, got equipment for his business, maxed out several credit cards, all on her credit. She had to file for bankruptcy after he left her. After everything, he didn't have to pay anything for any of it. Don't let that happen to you. This is crazy. This is also why you shouldn't buy a house with someone you aren't married to. I don't have any advice for you.
Except this is crazy.
I guess the bright light is if you kick him out, you get to keep the house and the car. If he is regularly running out of money, he should transfer less into savings or spend less. None of this makes any sense at all, though. If a friend told you this story and you heard it objectively, I suspect you would advise her to see the red flags for what they are. Either get him to give you the truth behind his actions or get out of the relationship. He doesn't believe in having a credit card. Okay, then he won't have a problem giving back your card and not using it again. The mortgage is in your name?
I guess that means that any equity in the house is all yours as well as any profit from the sale of
the house, since on paper the house is 100% yours. I guess that makes the car 100% yours as well. Oddly, I was thinking how fortunate you are to have everything in your name. He can't be borrowing against any of the assets since they're not his, and if you want to or need to end the relationship, you have all the assets and established credit. Something is definitely off, especially when he needs $100 to carry him through when he makes six figures. He sounds like he needs to grow up. If he's going to be throwing it in your face that he did something that every spouse should do, like somehow you owe him, he can shove that right back up his ass. You could always say, since you've used my credit for everything, then consider that time you've paid more as credit interest, since he doesn't believe in credit cards. Next time he asks to use it, just say, "Oh, but you don't believe in credit. I'm not going to tempt you to go against your principles." What a total ass.
The optics of this is pretty shady. He could leave you tomorrow and you would be responsible for everything according to the law.
This is why you should never commingle finances with someone you are not married to. You have allowed this odd arrangement to go on for 7 years, so he has no reason to change. If I were you,
My main concern would be to either to offload some of this debt or pay it off ASAP.
you may also want to reevaluate how you guys came to this point where you have been left holding the financial bag. I'd be questioning more of why he doesn't have his own CC by now. Like, does he have some hidden debt you don't know about? He can't be that against them if he's good with using yours.
I'd be revoking his access to your CC numbers and telling him to get his own card.
I would also stop floating him a $100 every time he's short. At that age, if he can't plan for when that big of a payment comes out, it isn't up to you to fix it. If he doesn't want to be on the mortgage, which by the red flags he's given you, I don't think he should be, you need to basically have a rental agreement. But really, dude, sounds like a giant red flag to me. He's staying away from entangling himself with you financially, indicating an unwillingness to commit. With the HPUSE in your name, however, this seems quite shady. Assuming he is smart enough to make six-figure salaries, he understands that this limits his right to it. Why would he be giving you the house he also pays for if he's not willing to commit? You think? It sounds like he's getting you used to shouldering his debt, so anytime he wants to bounce he can. just walk away and leave it for you to repay a loan? Do you have real evidence that he earns the income you suggest? You say he has no credit rating issues. How do you actually know this if he never applies for credit or never takes on financial obligations? This sounds like someone is spinning you a line.
I'd sell my house and get rid of my car and go live somewhere else by myself.
You're being used. Having credit and assets in your name only is a setup for him to bail out on you at whatever time. This is not normal, and it sure as hell is not sane. Not in a relationship. As it was mentioned, it is possible his money could be kept in high-interest term savings accounts, but then they wouldn't be available in 2 days. You lose a lot of you access them before term.
This is someone who is hiding
Money and possible his identity. Is he leaving a lot? Traveling often? Also be careful about him emptying all your accounts. He can do that.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.